Welcome to Cigar City Radio, episode number 57. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, and making the magic happen, a man who is very smartly dressed, Mr. Jason Solanas.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
Oh, no.
5.
Oh, God. Why? Why do you have to do this to Christmas? To Christmas? Is nothing sacred? Hey, you, Cigar City Radio listener. If you're listening to this show and you like it, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Cigar City Radio. Also, please subscribe to our mailing list to get music, info, and news and everything sent right to your inbox. Algorithms be damned. Just go to cigarcitymanagement.com/subscribe. You'll find the link there where you can put in your email address. We'll send you cool stuff, but we won't blow up your inbox, we promise. It's all very tastefully done. Like our show, right? Our show is very tastefully done. Our guest on this episode is Leah Umberger from Et Cultura Festival. Et Cultura is a 5-day interactive art, music, and film festival right in downtown St. Pete, Florida. This year, the festival features 60 films and 50 bands, including the recently reunited Slow Dive, The Friend for My Friend, Talib Kweli.
You don't really know him. Why is he lying?
Jason, relax. That's my favorite CD that I play in my crib, okay?
Your crib? Like your
in my crib. No, relax. All right. Talib Kweli is performing in downtown St. Pete. That's all I'm saying. Waxahachie is going to be there. Cloud Nothings, The Hip Abduction, and local favorites like Infinite Third, D Alps, The Shabooms, Ari Kai, Sonic Graffiti, and more. Many veterans of this here podcast, Cigar City Radio, yeah. You can find more on the festival at etcstp.com. We'll be out at the festival nearly every day and hope to bring you some content from the streets of St. Pete. Be on the lookout for myself, Jason, Michelle, and our new intern, Chris. But how will you know what we look like? Will you? It's because you've been following us on Snapchat and Instagram story that Jason forgot to post on during this interview. So here it is, episode number 57. Arts Center for Clay. Yes. They put the name up there for me.
Just so you can see it.
So I can get it. This is my first time here. I've never been here. But
it's pretty cool space.
It's a really cool space.
Yeah.
We're hanging out with Leah Umberger, who is one of the co-founders of the Et Cultura Music, Arts, Film, Interactive Festival.
Yeah.
5-day festival here in St. Pete, Florida, which starts today.
Yeah.
So this is it. This
starts
is
Wednesday. Today is the beginning of it. We did a little bit of things yesterday in terms of setting up and doing a little bit of project work, but yeah, today is the day.
Yeah, and there's the podcast listener might be able to hear the sounds of setups right now. So what's going on in this space actually?
In this space, we're setting up for one of our interactive sessions, and it's going to be Seeds, which is an urban agriculture event, and it's we're bringing in a thought leader named Will Allen, who's going to be the keynote speaker at the end of the evening. He's an arrestee speaker, which is a speaker series that we're working on with Open, and then we have panels all day around urban agriculture, food as medicine, planting your lawn. So it's a whole day based around that, and then there's an art show that's paired with it. So we're trying to do a blend where we have art and music together, or music and something else together, or film and music, or interactive and art. And this is one of the examples of it. So,
yeah, because music's kind of the root of the festival, right?
It's a mix. It's definitely music brings the people out to come to the event, but the interactive is what we're really hoping people get hooked on in terms of making a big impact on the community and getting people involved in the different topics that are going on. So we're trying to build it as both.
Right.
But yeah, the music definitely brings people in.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you guys went all out this year on the lineup. I mean, you got Slow Dive just reunited, and Talib Kweli, Waxahachie, Sunbolt, Cloud Nothings. What a great lineup.
It's pretty crazy. We're working with No Clubs, which is the same group that owned Daddy Cool Records.
Yeah.
And they've been a really big help in terms of and sort of curating what the music is. And we and we trust them completely with what they're putting together, and we know that St. Pete's going to love it, and hopefully the Tampa area and people farther away. We've had people as far away, especially for Slow Dive. We've had people in Jacksonville call us and say, "We're coming down.
Yeah.
We're going to buy our tickets and we're coming down," because I think it's the first time they played in Florida, and I don't know if they've ever played in Florida.
No, I don't know if they have.
I don't think they have.
And it's definitely their only Florida
it's their only
date
Florida
right
date,
now.
and they leave to go back to Europe after this.
Oh, wow.
So it is the tail end of their reunion tour, and Florida is their last stop as far as we know when we signed them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a legendary band that's back together. So what an exciting get for this festival.
And I thought it was really cool. It was really funny to me when I had started to listen to their new album and look at their newest music video. It's actually in a shuffleboard court, and I thought it was really hilarious because St. Petersburg is known for their shuffleboard court, and they actually had like a whole setup in Brooklyn, and they had mention of the St. Petersburg shuffleboard court in it. So I was
that's
like, oh,
awesome.
It's like meant to be.
Yeah, totally. You should do
Like
the
it was
show
supposed
should be
to
out.
happen.
The show should be out on the shuffleboard.
I wish
court.
we could do that. Like that is definitely something that we would love to do and sort of pair up weird and unexpected places for music.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll definitely shoot for as we go into the future. But yeah, it's that was a really cool sort of just thing to see when you're putting something together.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the second year of the festival, right?
Yes, it's the second year of the festival. Last year we did it same amount of time, 5 days, interactive music, art, and film, and it was. We still had bands. We had mostly local, some regional. So we had as far away as Nashville and some from LA. And we had the Hip Abduction last year, and they're back again this year.
Yeah.
So we did on a very small scale last year, and it was one stage and one location for music. And this year it's like sort of like five times expanded on what we're doing. So it's definitely grown in the last year in terms of what we're doing.
And what was the inspiration for the festival?
The inspiration for it is really there's a group of us that really just love music, art, film, interactive, and love St. Petersburg. And we started it as a little small film festival. We partnered with a group at Green Bench and did a film festival one year. And after that, we were sort of like, oh, that was good, but we'd love for it to be more. And so last year was the first year we figured out what more was, and then this year we just sort of grew it from there. Joel and Dave, who are the other two partners, they actually have worked for South by Southwest for a few years doing pro media for them.
Right on.
And so they sort of had that experience and knew what that was and could use that as a learning curve into what we're doing and actually help us meet some of the people from South by Southwest and have them give us pointers and sort of talk to us about what we're doing. We actually had their head planning person, senior planner, was our keynote speaker last year.
Wow.
So he could come in and sort of talk to St. Petersburg about what South by Southwest was and what it did for Austin and sort of have that equation of what it could do for St. Pete.
Yeah.
Not that this isn't in any way a South by Southwest event. It's just that having a mentor, having people that you can sort of
I mean, that's
watch.
kind of the dream, right? Like that's what you want to aspire to.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly. We want to do something that has that model. We definitely wanted to keep that St. Pete vibe and feel and make it feel like it is a community coming together. I know a lot of people in Austin that they tend to leave town and they rent out their rooms and they make a lot of money and it's great, but then they're not getting to experience what it is. And that's where we want to make sure that there's a fine balance of getting people to we want people to participate. And I think that's a big part of what our interactive will drive too, is that people they're here for the interactive, they want to be in the discussions, and then there's like a big 5-day party in the evening on the weekend.
That's kind of a cool distinction because, when I first saw interactive, I thought like, oh, is this going to be like cool tech demos or like, like are we going to be flying drones or something? But it's actually interactive in the sense that the audience and everyone is participating in the event.
That they're together. Yeah, it's actually about talking to each other. That we do have a tech aspect to it, and we did an innovation expo today. Was one of our events at the Dali, and so we did have a section where
there was some tech.
We had some businesses come in and do drones, and they had the VR, and they had a few other different things, and it featured some of the tech companies that are happening in St. Pete and around the area. But then the interactive for us is really it's about people interacting in that sense. It's two things coming together to make a change, and that's what interactive is heard in the computer world as computing, but it literally means
interacting.
Yeah. And so that's what we really want to help just facilitate the conversations that are already happening in St. Pete. We're not deciding on what these things are.
Yeah.
We're just sort of going off of what people are interested in here and running with that conversation. And Open is a really big part of that. And I don't know if you guys will have a chance to talk to the people at Open, but they're our partners. And sort of curating what the interactive is this year. you. So lots of loud noise.
Yeah, lots of setup. It's a busy day.
So we will. So we work really heavily with them, and they're actually in charge of like putting together the speaker series, and we sort of facilitate the production of it. So that's where we're working with them on that.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny, when one of our first podcast episodes with Jay Cridlin, the editor from Tampa Bay Times, we were talking about like the dream is we want a South by Southwest like festival in Tampa or St. Pete, you know.
Yeah.
And him and I kind of went back and forth where I was like, I would love to see it in Ybor, but he was like, no, it would probably be in St. Pete. And here we are about a year later, and you're doing that in St. Pete.
Oh, nice. Very
makes
cool.
Sense.
Yeah, it definitely grew. It's definitely grown out of the people. Like every time we talk about it to different people, they're like, oh yeah, we want a South by Southwest. Like a few people in the chamber, we had conversations with the people in the chamber, and people know what it is and what it. I mean, like in Austin, to give you an example, it's like $317 million came into the city of Boston in the 2 weeks that they did their festival. And so it's a huge economic impact, which is great. And we're not aiming for that right now, but that's sort of the growth of what can happen if we foster something like that. So and the satellite model, which is what South by Southwest is and what we're using, is you use different spaces in the city. You don't go down to the park and just keep people in a park and then the promoters make all the money. By doing it in Janus and doing it in State and doing it in the Morian, we're paying them fees to use these spaces so the money goes back into the economy. Yeah. And so
not only that, but people from out of town get to see like this is
the rest of St. Pete.
Yeah, this is what we're about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's, I think St. Pete is really trying to it's evolving as a city, and what does it become next, and who is it who are coming here and trying to shed that idea of the green benches, like the old people on the green benches. And that's one of the things that I know that the city's really excited about our festival being able to help with that part of it. So
and it's great. Like that's really awesome that you still have that commitment to the community, and the community aspect of it is really important, because I think South by, you know, now it's become a thing where it's pretty corporate, and like you have a lot of people that just kind of fly in and take over Austin and then get out. You know? So it's, but you know, even just looking at the lineup of this festival, there's a lot of great local acts. There's local art. You know, it's still a local festival,
and it puts our local people on the stages with national and regional acts. So a really great example, you mentioned Slow Dive. The opener for Slow Dive is Infinite Third, which is Billy Mays.
Billy Mays, another veteran of our podcast.
Yeah, and so like it's someone that's a local person that's on a stage with someone that like he's like over the moon. I just because he's texted me a few times. He's like I can't believe that I'm on stage with them. And so I think that just that idea that we have the quality of the artists here that are doing the work, and to be able to put something together where we can feature them and put them with people that will potentially affect their career too, you know, to be on
that's a big open.
To be on a lineup and be able to say that, or be on the same festival as Talib Kweli, or to be, I mean, I think that could definitely, and that's, I'm not in the music career, but I mean, I think that as an artist, that would be a really helpful validation. Yeah, exactly. That it makes there's talent, and St. Pete has it. So
that's always been kind of one of the missions of our show, which I think is why we dig at Cultura. Is like we've always been about putting the local talent on the same platform as national talent, because it's just as good.
Yes,
you know,
I couldn't agree more.
In some cases better. You know, we have some amazing artists here in the Tampa St. Pete area.
It's fun because I'm getting to find out a bunch of them that I didn't know about, and so by doing some of those pieces, I'm getting to learn about some of the bands. Like we're doing New Granada, which I think New Granada Records is doing the record label showcase on Sunday. And those bands, I hadn't heard them locally, and I knew who they were, but I hadn't really had a chance to hear them. So it was nice to go and research them and listen to them and know who they are. And it's introduced me to some new bands, and even our larger bands. Some of them I didn't know. I'd never really listened to Ott before, and now I have. So like that's been really cool for me as someone who loves music to sort of be introduced. I love being introduced to new music. Yeah, and this is like it's like it's the best way to do it. You know, you get to hear all these different bands and then bring them here, and then you can see them too. So
it's totally awesome. Yeah, and I love that New Granada is doing a showcase. They're one of the great labels from our area. Is that something that we might see more of next year? Is more showcases and featuring?
That was the beginning. We were trying to get more record label showcases. We were trying to work with actually a group out of Austin. There's a record label called Modern Outsider that we had one of their bands come out last year, and we loved them. We loved their music, Walker Lukens, and we were trying to get them to do a showcase this year too, but we run out of time at some point. And we New Granada was one of the ones we first contacted. Like when we started researching who we wanted to look at locally, it's like, where are the record labels? Who are they? Let's go find them. And they sort of also found us at the same time. Like Keith sent in something, I think, to Tony, and then I was like, I was just looking at them, and it just came together. Yeah, it just worked. So I was really excited, and I'm hoping that next year we can do more of them with more bands, and then get more industry people to come here, because the bigger bands are here, so that they can, potentially be seen and maybe be signed if they're not signed.
I mean, I know I have friends I used to live in Chicago, and they're freezing right now. They could be in St. Pete.
They could be here.
They could be here at this festival.
They could, and they would have a great time.
They would. Yeah.
So I hope that's what we hope will do. That will happen. That it'll get to the point where people know about it enough that they plan and they fly in.
Yeah.
And this, like right now, it's very. It's not completely local that we are getting people flying in, but it's a lot more St. Pete, Clearwater, Orlando, Miami.
Yeah.
But as it grows, we'll get more people from farther away. So,
for sure, yeah. I mean, I think as long as you keep bringing great talent to the area, that people will come. You know, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they say.
Exactly.
So, so I know we have a lot of listeners that either work on festivals or would love to do their own music festival.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest challenge that you've found putting together a festival like this?
I think the biggest challenge is just the time commitment. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but that's what it is. You have to commit the time to doing it, and we've had a really great response in terms of people working with us. So that's been amazing, and it is a lot of FaceTime. It's a lot of like going in and meeting people and working on projects and collaborating and getting volunteers, and it's definitely you can't do it from a desk.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think the coolest part is that you're involving the community. You really have to go and be in the community. And that's not really a bad thing. It's just, it's not something that I ever thought of before. That's not that it's good or bad. I don't know, I'd never done this before, and it was sort of a cool thing to find out how many people in the community are supportive.
Absolutely.
And the fear of them saying no was the thing you had to get over. You had to be willing to go in and ask. And I think that was the biggest thing, so.
That's a really good advice.
Yeah.
I think just for anything that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid, because they might say yes.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that we've learned is like, well, they might say no, but if they're never going to say anything if you don't ask them.
Yeah.
So that's one of our biggest things that we try and make sure it's a crazy idea. We ask the crazy idea and go from there.
So I know this might be a little bit of a Sophie's Choice type thing, but what is your what are you looking forward to the most this week?
It sounds so crazy because I'm going to say film, and I know that this is a music festival, and I know that this is a interactive festival. There's the interactive discussion on Friday with Michael Sturtz. I'm really interested in. And then there's some really great films that we have. Like the music, I love the music, and I will definitely be able to see some of it. But we have an amazing film lineup, and there's one in particular. It's called Brimstone and Glory, and it's all about the story of this town that makes fireworks. And it's one of the last things that ends our festival, and it's sort of like our own fireworks show, but digitally on screen. And then there's another group down here called Video Mass that they have a horror movie. Like they do a sci-fi horror movie. Where they put a bunch of compilations together and do a film there. And then they also one called Omniverse. And that's an interesting group that I like their style and I like what they're doing. And they're actually here scouting with our film commissioner to do a natural disasters like comedy spoof. It's a really sore subject given what's happened here. But it's cool to be able to bring in their 5 filmmakers from New York, and they're coming down to see St. Petersburg and be part of this festival. And it's also I think it's our Saturday night and our Friday night late night films. So if people are not interested in music, that would be sad.
Yeah, that would be sad. They're probably not listening to this show, to be honest.
If they're not interested in music, they could definitely go see a lot. I mean, there's plenty of films. There's over 60 films that we have. There's 50 bands. There's 60 films. It's a lot of stuff. But yeah, definitely film. And I think I really want to see Sunvolt. I think that's one of the ones. I love Americana. I love that genre of music, and I was really excited. That whole lineup, and I think it sounds silly, but the Shabooms.
The Shabooms are
out
awesome.
Of Orlando, and I really like them.
We need to get them on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't go up to Orlando that often, so it's cool that they're going to be down here, and it's it's not one of the big giant bands, but it's local, and
They
but
put on a great show.
A great show. I know last year the Hip Abduction did an amazing show for us, and I'm really excited to see them in Janus. Like I think that's the kickoff tomorrow night. And I just think the energy there is gonna set the tone for everything else, which is cool. But there's some really great. The lineups people are like, why did you put them right next to each other?
Yeah,
and you have to choose.
You have to, yeah.
That's what a festival is. It's like you don't get to go to all of them, and it makes people talk about who'd you see,
Yeah.
what did they do,
and it's cool because a lot of people can be seeing very different things, but still having a very cool experience,
right?
You know,
and that you can tailor it to who you are, as opposed to us saying, oh, we're only going to do this.
Yeah,
you know. So we made sure that we have everything from the Hummingbirds. We have Talib Kweli, like you said, it's all these genres of music. There's the Sarah Rose Band is playing one night, and she's a country music person. She's in the Ringside, and then so it's like it's a little bit of everything. TRC, Queen of X. So there's a lot of stuff that we wanted to make sure we hit enough music genres that it was all there. You know, I think there's. I don't say there's nothing we don't have, because I'm sure there is, but we tried to get a lot of it covered. So yeah.
No, I think you did a great job of finding a very diverse lineup.
Nice.
So we're going to be out here. Our intern Chris and our licensing director Michelle are going to be out. You know, we're going to be doing a lot of interviews with fans and whoever we can grab. So
they're there hopefully.
Yes. so at Cultura Week is going to be fun. And anything else you want to?
I would say if you haven't heard about the festival, go ahead and look it up online. Our website, www. This is the hard one. It's at cultura.com. But you can also do etcstp.com. It'll get you to the same place. So that's the best one. And then just come out and see what we're about. If you can't afford a ticket, there's plenty of free stuff, including music. So I don't want people to feel like they're left out if they can't afford.
Yeah, I know the New Granada Showcase is free on Sunday.
Yeah,
so.
There's free music on that same location on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the evenings, and it's all great bands. Have Gun Will Travel, Loose Talk. Yeah, it's
for
it's
free.
For free.
That's awesome.
I was like, that's pretty crazy. So you can just come in. You can see those shows if you need to save some money and just still want to be at Cultura. We want you to be here too. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Hopefully we get more people out here to hear about it.